plaintiff, Ariana Kent, was married to the defendant for 4 years, and they have 2 children. Ariana claims after the birth of their second child, the defendant became physically abusive, and then he left her for his new wife, who is with the defendant in court today. Ariana is suing for medical bills for their child. Defendant Jason Kent says while married, he and Ariana argued constantly because she was always nagging him about his hours at work. Jason does not believe he owes Ariana for anything.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Okay, so Jason and I were married for about 4 years until he met this woman that's with him today, and that dissolved our marriage. When we first met, things were great. We got married, had 2 kids. After our second kid, we started fighting a lot. He became physically abusive. I remember a time that I threw a remote at him and he punched me in my mouth in retaliation.
You threw a remote at him?
Yes, it hit him in his leg, and then...
Oh, and it did hit him in the leg? All right, go ahead.
After that, our marriage pretty much dissolved. He came home.
Why do you think that was occurring?
The fighting, it just started out of nowhere. He started fighting with me and I was fighting back with him, and it's just, he wasn't the person that I married after we had our second child.
Did you change?
I mean, it's true to a certain extent, but there's reasons, you know, there's always reasons why.
So you tell me.
Yeah, I had a job. I'm a tattoo artist by trade, so my job, I don't know when I'm going to be home. It can be 8, 10 o'clock, it can be 2, 3 in the morning. So that's what I do believe in, and started the fighting the mostly because I didn't.
You
know
were tattooing until 2 a.m.
Yeah, and I didn't know when I would be home.
He was partying until 2
so
a.m.
I'd get calls.
You want to know if they got any jobs. You come home at 2 a.m., I don't believe your wife will go for that. So
Right. Yeah, sometimes it's better not to say it because they don't believe it. But no, she would get mad. I'd get calls, say, when are you going to be home? It was never about the profession, though. It was always, you are with this girl, you're with that girl. It got to a point where I hated answering my phone for her name. If I didn't answer it while I was working, I would get called back to back while I was tattooing somebody. She would then call the shop, which then make me stop doing my work, answer the phone. You didn't take the garbage out. You know, it would be something stupid, you know, and it just got to a point where I didn't want to go home.
Was the money increasing while those hours were increasing?
Only when their busy times were. That's it. So
now, when he come home at 2 in the morning, would he have extra money?
No, as I called it, it was a sandbox for him to stick his head into. He just stayed there for no reason. I think anyway. I wasn't there, so I didn't know what he was doing.
That's what you think, he was just staying there for no reason?
Yep. Well, when she started, that was a lot of the, when she first started, yeah. Because she started working with him.
Go ahead, man. What are you suing him about today?
He was involved in an accident in January of this year. He wasn't carrying car insurance at that time. I am the sole legal provider for my kids. My insurance didn't cover it, so I'm suing him for the cost of the medical bills occurred because of the accident with my kids in the car with him.
What type of injuries?
I have pictures of the injuries and of the accident.
What type of injuries were
there? My oldest had cuts to her head. There are about 4 different cuts. My youngest was ejected from the vehicle. She had a black eye and several bruises through her body. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Whoa, that's the car.
Yes, his is the one that's on the side.
Oh.
What happened, sir?
It was Sunday afternoon. I had my girls for the weekends, and we were just heading to McDonald's. That accident actually happened about 3 blocks from my house. Mm-hmm. Busy road, very dangerous intersection coming down a hill. Stopped at the intersection, looked right, didn't see no cars. Had my wife, the whole family in the car too. Also had a 2-year-old that was in the vehicle also. Looked to the left, seen I had plenty of time to go, proceeded across the road, and I got hit in the side by a car. The speed limit there is 35. He had been going at least 60 to 70. I had a 3-row Lincoln Navigator. He flipped upon impact, and I never seen him, not one bit. And right away the accident knocked me out. once I got up, I proceeded to try to find my family. You know, I was disoriented, confused. I had no clue what really had happened besides the vehicle's on its side. My wife, who was in the seat next to me, is now in the back seat. My children that were in the back seat are in the third row, and my child that was in the third row is not in the vehicle. I started freaking out. It was very tragic. I thought she was under the vehicle.
Where was she? When did you come?
She wound up, I couldn't tell you exactly when she got ejected because as soon as we got hit, I lost consciousness.
Where was she found? You know?
About 10 feet from the car, sitting on her booster seat because she had to sit on a booster. So she went out the car.
She didn't have her booster seat in the car either. She wasn't wearing her seatbelt, and my oldest didn't have her booster seat either.
And that's not true. The officers can verify that were there because when she was found sitting on her booster seat, the one that got ejected. Did
he get a ticket perhaps for not having the child buckled in?
He didn't, but he was found guilty of child endangerment through DCFS.
Why do you think that was?
What happened is when we first got into the accident, it was the officer on the scene. His shift was up when we got into the accident. He was the officer who checked the vehicle and called the ambulance, everything from that point. Once we got to the hospital, I had suspended driver's license. So from that point, I went...
And no insurance?
I had insurance, but I had it on a different vehicle.
Well, you didn't have insurance.
Well,
no insurance, suspended license, what else? What did they get you for?
Well, I had insurance I have 2 different vehicles.
Sir, we're talking about the vehicle which nearly killed your children.
Right.
Now, tell me about why you were convicted of child endangerment.
DCFS decided to run an investigation because I moved from house to house. They could not.
And what happened?
They couldn't contact me. They made their own they made their own decisions beyond the fact that they couldn't get my story.
They didn't give you an opportunity to defend yourself.
I can appeal. That's my point. I can.
All right. How long ago was it?
Last month.
All right, and you're going to appeal.
Oh, yeah.
And the only reason you believe you were convicted is because you didn't have a chance to defend yourself.
The lady that I spoke to told me that the only reason that they charged me was because they were going off what they believed happened, off of what their investigation took, and because I didn't give them my side of the story, that they made their conclusion upon what they found.
Okay, the evidence that they found.
They found, yes.
That's what they believe. All right, which might include not buckling the seat of a baby.
The statements of our children.
Consequently, flew 10 feet away.
But
none of that would have happened if you'd obeyed the law twice. The law is you must have a valid driver's license. You broke the law. You must have insurance on the car in question. You broke the law. So you broke the law twice. So you were negligent when you broke the law, which resulted in nearly the death of your children. $5,000 for you. Have a good day.
It has nothing to do with what he did breaking the law. It has everything to do with paying for what he did, and if he would have just paid for it, we would never be here today.